welcome to the Follow Everton match reaction. We're here with Mabsy to react. He's at the ground now. Mabsy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, yeah. Fucking brilliant. Fucking made up. That's what blowing the cobwebs away. Only Everton can fucking treat you like that and then suck you back in. Only Everton.
Mabsy, tell us what it was like being a supporter in there for the first time in 6 months.
We're back. We're back, baby. Fucking, it's just amazing just to be in the stadium. It's fucking, I don't know how anyone can be a cop out and fucking just watch it on TV. Fuck that shite.
Well, I can't wait to be back in there with you, hopefully next season. But you could see the atmosphere in there today. It was like the stadium was full from.
It was just buzzing. Everyone was just so made up to be back. No one gave a shit. There wasn't any ale or fucking refreshments. Just, yeah, fucking brilliant.
Atmosphere.
Terrible voice has gone.
You've lost it. Have you been screaming at the players?
I fucking just, you know what? I'd tell you what. First half, yeah, fucking not so good. Let's be honest. But the fucking second half, Carlo did something there. Fucking worked his magic, and yeah.
So it did look as bad in the ground as he did at home in the first half.
I was no one going to fucking see Rodriguez or what? What's that about?
He's tired.
We've not moved many places. We're still 8th.
Huh? What? Is Rodriguez ever going to fucking play again, or what are we going to see him going to go, or what?
I think he's a liability, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got fucking legs. I mean, at the end of the day, no one has been in the ground to see him fucking play. What's that about? What the fuck?
I know. But as you said, just when we're down and out, you see that Spurs have lost, and there's still a chance.
That was always going to fucking happen, isn't it? Let's, fucking really, really bad outside chance now. Really, I mean, it would take a miracle for us to beat Man City and to win against Spurs. Come on, can't happen, can it?
It will be our luck to beat Man City and probably still not get into Europe.
But can Leicester win Spurs? Can it happen?
I think Leicester will beat Spurs, yeah.
Then that's in our hands.
Conference League, Mabs, are you going to get your wish? Trips to Lithuania and...
I'm fucking, mate, I don't give a shit. Fucking get me on that plane now. Get me on that fucking plane.
For the Conference League?
I'm not asked. Fuck it, it's Europe. It's probably watching your team in a different fucking country with your mates on the lash. Fuck it. Get me on that plane now. I'll give anything to go back into Europe.
Don't start booking your flights too early.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective on the game, I thought the first half was such a damp squib. I thought it was heading for a 0-0. And I actually put on Twitter saying the only way we're going to score here is a set piece. And, we had Andy Hinchcliffe on commentary going on about how all the set pieces had to be, he's insistent on it, in-swinging corners. And we go and score from an out-swinging corner, which was a fantastic header, the direction on it from Richarlison. And I thought he was more up for it today. He seems to be an emotional player that needs the fans.
Yeah, was it a corner?
Say again?
Was it a corner?
Yeah, it was a corner. Are you not true?
It was. I'll fucking take it all day long. I'm not asked, but I don't think it was a corner.
Well, you were at that end. You were close to it, weren't you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a corner personally. But fuck it, I'll take it. I'm not asked.
Mabs, tell me about the matchday experience. Is it as good even though there isn't as many fans in the ground?
Of course it is. It's as loud as 39,000 fans. It was loud. It was just everyone made up for it. It really did.
Because we couldn't really tell off the, it was really difficult to hear. Yeah. Steve makes a good point here, actually. He says the handball penalty could have been given. Was that something you noticed?
I didn't see it. I didn't see that one. I'm honestly didn't see it. We were like, what? Because we were like, what the fuck's the VAR going on about? Again, because it was from the corner, like, didn't say anything, so.
Yeah, it seemed like Decore pushed it with his hands out for a corner. Right. And we thought it was banged to rights just because of the action he made with the ball was it looked like he pushed him out. So I was surprised.
So, well, we were shocked about what the fuck was that about, but who cares?
The Wolves fans were very quiet today, weren't they?
I couldn't hear him, mate. The Everton fans shouting them out. Anyway, so, I'm going to have to go, mate. Anyway,
all right,
right, see you in a bit.
That's it. That was live from County Road, Goodison Park. Me and Basil, aka Dave, you've seen him on pretty much every video. We did apply for the ballot. We are season ticket holders in the park, and yeah, we didn't get there. And we kind of, after the Sheffield United result, were mildly okay with the fact we weren't going, really. But today, I think maybe just from what we've seen from Mabsy there, it might have been a nice experience to have gone into Goodison and witnessed a win of some description. So,
well, it was painful to watch on TV, but I'm sure it would have been a much better experience. You know, being in the stands, seeing things in perspective rather than flat on, like where you can see everything happening, and just being a bit in the dark about the actual performance and just enjoying the atmosphere. But we can't wait to get back to Goodison next season, can we? Hopefully it will be back to capacity crowds.
Dave, I mean, I want to ask you a little bit more about that first half. For about 5 minutes, it looked like we were really on top of them and up for it. And then Wolves, corner after corner after corner, it looked inevitable they were going to score. But we dealt with that well. Do you think the returning Mina made a big difference there? His presence in there, you know, he got his head on pretty much everything. Him and Michael Keane were outstanding, and they had set piece after set piece and corner after corner. And also worth noting, they dealt with Traore really well. Wolves are a team that really lack a focal point up there, centre forward. And I think today we knew what we had to do, which was to defend the 1v1s, defend the set pieces, and we did that well. You can see where they're struggling, though. They've got no end product.
Yeah, I think from a defensive point of view of Everton, we played quite well. I think that was a much stronger side to our game than the attacking, which it has been all season, and that's how we were able to stop Wolves creating too much. Obviously, Adama's pace and acceleration just makes him a nightmare, and you know, he didn't get that many opportunities to actually put in a ball. You know, he got past our players, but we got back and we got numbers around him to stop him having an impact. And Wolves just completely lack. Obviously, it's not their fault. Raul Jimenez has been out for most of the season for them, and if they had him, I think this season they would have done much better. But in terms of defending the set pieces, yeah, well, you've got to look at the record across the whole season. They've got one of the worst records in terms of defending set pieces. Yeah. And conceding from crosses. So it's not unusual that they conceded from a cross, and also that's a kind of stat that would indicate that they wouldn't be so good in the air anyway in terms of in our box scoring. So I think we dealt with that quite well, and obviously set pieces are one of our strengths, although they have disappeared over the last sort of 2 or 3 months.
That thing with Traore, though, I mean, he did bypass 1 or 2, and then there'd always be the third man who'd stop him. And I just thought, you know, if he had an end product, he wouldn't be playing for Wolves, put it that way, because he is that quick, and he's a powerful player as well, and he's a good dribbler. Just going to bring Dave, a friend of the channel. Hi, Dave. He's watching on YouTube. He said he thought the defence did all that was asked for them, including Pickford, who was excellent when called upon. So Jordan Pickford as well, he's looking sharp. He's looking really composed. And to be fair, he hasn't had to do much in these recent games apart from pick the ball out of his net on the odd occasion. So, you know, that's a positive, isn't it? That's an improvement from him. But we do seem really short of you know, attacking options. It's almost like whatever they do, they're not going to get dropped because the options on the bench are not of satisfactory quality. Look at Josh King. He clearly doesn't like him. He's gone off Iwobi. I imagine both of them will, certainly King won't be here next season. And I'd like to see Iwobi moved on to maybe Norwich or someone coming up would look at someone like him. And Dave also goes to say that he thinks Richarlison is an emotional player. Do you think he needs to be the main man? Do you think he wants to feel that from the crowd and that spurs him on? I mean, it shouldn't he should have an inner motivation, but
No.
Today he was much more on his game.
To be honest, in my opinion, I didn't think he had a great game, especially first half. He didn't do an awful lot. I think once he got the goal, his confidence was a lot higher, and the crowd were a lot more supportive, cheering us on. And we had a good spell in the game where we looked on top, and there was some moments where he looked a bit more aggressive and a bit more willing to take the ball down the line and run with it. So it did improve in the second half, and he became one of our better players then. But yeah, obviously he plays off confidence and he plays off the crowd. So
one thing I do want to mention though, whilst Richarlison did well, I thought Calvert-Lewin had a stinker. I think the effort was there and the intentions were there, but all his touch was poor, and his lack of composure and his finishing was a worry. And you have to feel now he might not actually get in that England squad for the Euros. Because you mentioned before when we were watching the game, Bamford and Watkins have now, scored a lot of goals. So is that a concern that he might not get into the Euros? Maybe a big finish against Man City will keep him in Southgate's picture. But I don't think he did himself any favours today.
I think he might go anyway, just because of the qualities he offers in terms of being a physical striker. I think Watkins runs the channels. And I think with the quality England have around them, he could stay in the box and get actual service, which Everton don't provide. And Bamford's a bit older. I think Bamford could do the same job Calvert-Lewin does, but he's not going to be a long-term player for England. He's already like 27, 28. So I'd see Calvert-Lewin might nick in ahead, but Everton haven't done Calvert-Lewin any favours by the way they have played for the last 6 months in terms of internationals. But Pickford and Dean have obviously gone up a little bit today with their performances.
Yeah, just coming on to that, Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Margaret's saying that Keane was man of the match. I mean, obviously Sky Sports gave Michael the man of the match, and he did everything he needed to do today. He was rock solid. Concentration was superb. There wasn't many individual errors today that I noticed. One player that I did think actually, by the way, give us a thumbs up, Margaret, if you can on Facebook. Decore seems to slow things down. He wants to pass sideways and backwards. So he wasn't great. And Alan was quite quiet, wasn't he? It's frustrating. I feel like they're still needing to gel.
We never really got a grip in a way to build up, did we, from the midfield? They didn't really ever have any control over the game. And I think that's one of the reasons we struggled to create for the most of the game. And it was going to come off a set piece.
Sigurdsson had a couple of chances, didn't he?
It's a difficult situation that we were in over the summer. And I'm sure we'll talk about this in future videos, analysing the season and stuff. But where we build from, because you could argue we build from the back, that we have more faster players and we employ the pressing attacking style, or you build from midfield and you get people who want the ball, or you build from the front and you get people with pace who are direct. We basically need to address all the areas, and it's just where we're going to start with. But it's on display the last few matches, these problems.
It is a systematic problem. I mean, we have talked about it many times. If you want to play from the back, you need better players who can play from the back. If you want to press, you need players with more energy who can press with more intensity. And in the midfield, I think, you want to be a passing team, you've got to have players who are better on the ball than Alan and Decore. So it's where we're going to go with it. And I'm sure Ancelotti will have a plan. I think he said his priority is a creative player and a winger to supplement James, who clearly is a luxury player we cannot build a team around and rely upon. He's someone we can have, play maybe 20 games a season, but we have to have options. He has to be an option. And we have to address that this summer, or we're going to see very similar. The standard of football, to be honest, is pretty drab. And we need to bring in a couple of wide players, certainly, to inject something different. Margaret, you're more than welcome. Thank you very much. And stick with us for future videos. It's great to have you watching. Basil, we're not going to keep too long. Have you got any closing comments? Obviously, we're playing Man City next, final game of the season. Just a slim chance of doing something. Do you keep the same team, or do you make any changes? Or
well, we have to get at least a point, don't we? The loss the loss is no good to us. So we're going to have a good performance either way, and it's all going to depend on Spurs. We're not relying off. It's not down to us really. We can only do our job, and that would be to win the game, which is going to be a difficult task. I have a feeling, just from the way the season's gone, I can only see us going there with a defensive unit mentality, try and get a draw, and hope Spurs lose to Leicester. But you know,
if Spurs lose and we get a draw, do we finish 7th?
Yeah.
What's the situation with West Ham?
West Ham, if West Ham lose both their games, but they've got 2 home, or they've got 1 easy home game and another easy game. West Brom, I think they're playing, or who are they playing? West Brom, yeah.
Don't get your hopes up, and I mean, I've made it clear all along. I don't particularly want the Conference League.
Well, it's whether Spurs will. You know what Spurs are like. They like to kind of throw things away a bit like we do. So let's see what happens there.
Yeah, Arsenal are going to finish above them, right? Dave, thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.